Hello and welcome back to the second part of this recording, this video recording. We would start off with the second section of the metrics that we are calculating. Let's get to the metrics. So the second section of the metrics we want to calculate are as follows. We want to calculate for the metrics for revenue and financial performance. Revenue and financial performance. So the first metric is the average daily rates. The second is the revenue per room, and we have this occupancy rates. We can't unfortunately calculate the occupancy rates because we do not have the total number of rooms. So we would take this out for now. I'll take this out for now. If assuming we had a total number of rooms, then we would have calculated that. Let's take that out for now. So we'll focus on the average daily rates. Yeah. Then we will look at the average daily rates. We'll look at the total revenue, sum of average daily rates times the weekend plus weeknights for all the bookings. Then revenue by market segment, and this should be visualized actually. This should be form of visualization. Then we'll also look at the revenue per booking. Revenue per booking. So these are the four metrics that we'll be calculating here to answer the questions or to give metrics to show us the metrics under revenue and financial performance. So let's head on to Power BI to start with the metrics creation. Let's get to Power BI to start with the metrics creation. All right. So what we will do here is that we need to, first of all, get our total nights. We already, I think, since this total nights is something that we're using again and again, I think we would have to calculate that matrix called total nights. Let's calculate the metric called total nights. All right. So back to Power BI. I'll right click on my metrics here so that we can always use it whenever we need it. So total underscore nights, total nights equal to the sum of stays in weeknights plus the sum of stay in weekend nights. Yeah, that's it. I didn't close this bracket. Sorry, I didn't close this bracket. Great, this works now. So the sum of stays in weeknights plus the sum of stays in weekend nights. That is the total nights. The sum of stays in weeknights and sum of stays in weekend nights. Okay, but that's not what we need actually. What we need is we only need that to calculate our total revenue. All right, we need that to calculate our total revenue. So how do we get the total revenue? What we'll do is we are going to be taking the sum of I'll be using a sum X in this case, the sum of the hotel booking when by multiplying the ADR by the total booking or total, what's it called? Total nights. Multiply that by total nights. So the formula we're using there is simply the sum X of booking, comma, total booking ADR multiplied by total nights. Let's see how that goes. Right click here, new measure. So we call that from our metric, from our formula, we called it what? Average daily rate. No, let's first calculate total revenue. Do we have total revenue? Let me see. Let's first calculate total revenue before we go ahead and calculate the average daily rate. So total revenue will be equal to total revenue will be equal to, like I said, I'm using a sum x of, so what are we summing? The hotel booking. I'm doing hotel data, sum x of hotel data, comma, hotel data, and the let's do that of the ADR, hotel data ADR, comma, no, times, I'm multiplying this one by the total nights, the metric we calculated earlier. So let me explain what just happened here. From the sum x, let's look at, in fact, let's look at the sum x function again, so that you understand how it works. So the sum x returns the sum of an expression evaluated for each row in a table. Sum of our expression or evaluated for each row in a table. So when I do this, the first thing I want to do is, what table do I want to work on or work with? So I want to work with the hotel table, hotel data table, which is the fact table. And which column do we want to perform this evaluation? The ADR column on that hotel data multiplied by the total nights that we've calculated earlier. So with this, it gives us the total revenue generated. Do you understand? Total revenue. So when I say enter, total revenue be calculated, but that is not all, right? Because that is not what we of course, total revenue is part of the is actually part of the metric that we hope to calculate. So we've gotten total revenue. Let's see what the total revenue looks like. I will visualize that on a card, this, and let's see the total revenue. So total revenue is around 39.36 million. That is the total revenue generated from this business, 39.36 million. Yeah, for the entire period. But let's go ahead and calculate the average daily rate. Okay, the average daily rate. So the average daily rate is going to be total revenue divided by total room nights sold. Total revenue divided by total room nights sold. So our average daily rate, let's right click, new measure, average daily rate equal to, so this average daily rate ADR will be equal to, I know we have an ADR column, right? ADR, which stands for average daily rate. Okay, but to calculate the average daily rate KPI for our API, for our metric, it will be total revenue that we calculated divided by total weekend nights. So we'll do a divide of total revenue, which is what we calculated earlier, divided by total nights. All right, so let's see what our average daily rate is. This and this. So that is 106.97. That is a metric for our average daily rate, 106.97. And then finally, okay, not finally, I think we have two more to go. Revenue by market segments. Well, this one is going to be visualized. This revenue by market segment will be visualized using checking. We'll see by the different market segments. Just visualize this revenue by different market segments by visualizing it on a bar chart. I'm going to use a bar chart to do that. So that's not really a metric. It's something that just in form of visualization. So what of revenue per booking? Let's do the revenue generated per booking. So that's going to be the total revenue generated divided by number of bookings. Total revenue divided by number of bookings. Let's add that metric, new measure, revenue per booking. So how much revenue did we make for each booking? Revenue per booking equal to the total revenue that we generated divided by, oh, that is a division, so I have to use my divide formula, divide function rather. Divide total revenue by total booking. Okay, so let's visualize this on a card also. Revenue per booking here. Great. So revenue per booking is 390.6 thousand. Yeah, so these are the metrics that we hope to cover for the second group of metrics, and that is done. That is done. Let's check to see what metrics we've calculated. So we've done the metric for the average daily booking, which is this formula. We use total booking divided by total room nights sold. Then we did for total revenue, which is the sum of ADR times the weekend plus weeknight for all bookings. Then I said this revenue by market segment is going to be a visualization for each market segment. The revenue per booking, we also calculate. We also calculated that if you want to see the revenue per market segment, let me just show that before I end the second part of the video, and then we'll continue the next part. Let me show you revenue per market segment as a on a chart using bar chart. So we're going to add a bar chart, and with this chart, I will come to the market segment dimension, visualize market segment, then look at total revenue, market segment, and total revenue. So you can see the total revenue by market segment. So it's clearly seen that the market segment that gave the highest revenue is online TA. Gave the highest revenue, that is about 24 million. They are almost 25 million, followed by the offline, direct, groups, corporate, aviation. Complementary is the least market segment that generated revenue for us. All right, so you can see that we are now making sense of our data. Okay, so this is where I'll stop here for the second part of the video. I'll continue in the next part. Please make sure you complete all the videos. Thank you.